أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. Amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum and welcome to Future Stars live on Hidayat TV. I'm your host Hassan Shah, and today we're talking, obviously, as the occasion is the Hajj. We're going to be talking about Hajj. Around about now, the people doing Hajj, they will be on the plains of Arafah. And as to start off with, we're going to introduce our guest.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Misbah.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mohsin.
And like we do on every show, Misbah is going to read a surah and Mohsin is going to do the translation. So we're going to start them off with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Al-Qariya. ما القارية وما أدراك ما القارية يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية صدق الله العلي العظيم.
In the name of Allah, the Extant and Merciful. The calamity, what is a calamity? What will convey into thee what the calamity is a day where mankind is scattered like thickly scattered moth, and the mountains will become a carded wool. And for him whose scales are heavy with good work, he will live a pleasant life. But as for him whose scales are like the bereft and hungry one, will be his mother. What will convey into she what she is, raging fire. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Thank you, Moshe. Remember, whenever you are reading surah, make sure you do the translation as well, so you know the history behind it and also how you can implement it into your life. So, thank you for that. So, like I explained, Hajj is occurring. Yeah. We're going to be mentioning, we're just going to be going through it. This will, we might not have a time to go through all of the, in detail anyway, the steps of Hajj and the parts of Hajj, but we'll get into most of it. We might even talk about all of it, but we might not get into detail in some areas, but hopefully we can get through this, yeah, and explain it properly, so people at home understand and we understand here as well. So Misbah, you've got the first thing, so can start Misbah with Allah salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Hajj is one of the obligatory acts in Islam which must be performed by each and every Muslim who is able to at least once in his or her lifetime if certain conditions are fulfilled. The books of Ahadith are replete with wisdom for the Prophet of Islam and his 12 successors, peace be upon all of them, concerning Hajj and the philosophical and mystical aspects behind the various acts performed. Hajj can be separated into a few stages. In the first stage, above all other things, that which is the most important is repentance, tawbah, and to be vigilant. The meaning of repentance is to shun all devils and forms of despotism and turn back towards Allah. It means to disregard one's wishes, low desires, and lower soul, al-nafs al-amra, and proceed towards spirituality and the higher qualities of a human being. In the second stage, the first action consists of wearing the ihram at the miqat, the station where the ihram must be worn. The ihram of the Hajj is similar to the takbir al-ihram for salah, such that when a person says the takbir al-ihram to start the salah, one must leave behind all other things and focus one's entire attention on Allah. From the beginning of the salah until its completion, nothing else must distract the person. Such is the ihram for Hajj, meaning that once it is worn, the person must leave aside all things related to the world. In its place, one must turn towards Allah and that which is His pleasure. At the time of donning the ihram, one must fulfill the commandments of Allah. The third stage is going from Makkah and Medina back to one's hometown. The responsibilities at this stage are much more difficult than they were at the first and second level, since it is at this level that one's responsibilities must become just like those of the Prophet of Allah, those who convey the messages of Allah. In the first and second stage, one was busy with self-building, but at this stage one must work upon building others. Although the act of enlightening others is dependent upon self-building, however, this task is so difficult that the noble Prophet Muhammad has said, Surah Hud made my beard white from the point where it is revealed. Continue then in the right way as you are commanded. And as also he who has turned to Allah with you, O Muhammad. After returning from Mecca and Medina, the Hajj must convey that which he has brought with him, his self-building, to others through his actions. His speech, actions, manner and disposition must be in an example to others, and this is truly the best gift that one can bring back for the rest of the people. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil fajr. Thank you, Misbah. So Misbah talked a little bit about a couple of things there. Mainly the starting. Yeah. At a point where you have to have your what on? Ihram, where you put your ihram on. Misbah compared it there to what?
The takbir al-ihram.
Why is there a similarity?
Because like in the salah, when you were to say the takbir al-ihram to begin the salah, all your attention must be on Allah. Like the ihram, as soon as you put it on, all your focus and intention must be on Allah.
Yeah. So, and also another thing that I can say, once you do the takbiratul ihram, yeah, certain things become haram on you at that point. Yeah. And once you put on this ihram and starting Hajj, things become haram on you as well at that point as well, yeah, which wasn't haram on you before, same as salah, like I said, yeah. So these are just a comparison point between those two things as well. What else did you go and talk about? What else did you talk about there?
How the first and the second stages are to build up your yourself
and you talked about repentance here as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that being main thing in the first stage. So Mohsin, you got the next thing, so you can start Mohsin off with the last salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
It is clear from the Holy Quran and the traditions that performance of Hajj is obligatory on every person who has attained puberty and has the means mentioned below. Hajj is one of the basic principles of Islam. Its performance is one of the essential, and its non-performance is a grave sin. Denial of the obligatory nature of Hajj is blasphemy. And Allah states in the Holy Quran, and pilgrimage to the house is incumbent upon men for the sake of Allah, upon everyone who is able to undertake the journey to it, and whoever disbelieves, surely Allah is self-sufficient above any need of the worlds. In religion, the performance of pilgrimage is obligatory on every person once only. It is known as Hijratul Islam. Performance of the pilgrimage becomes obligatory immediately in the year when its conditions are realized. If one fails to belatedly or for an excuse. It must be fulfilled in ensuing year and so on. A pilgrimage is not obligatory on any person who has attained adulthood, even if they were approaching it. A pilgrimage performed by a child will most evidently not be counted as a Hajj al-Islam, even if they performed it properly. The reason is no obligation on an insane person to perform pilgrimage, even if the insanity is periodic. There are a few rules that need considering under the last two headings. Other necessities for Hajj and time. There must be enough for making the journey to Mecca and staying throughout the whole obligatory periods. In other words, it's not obligatory to perform pilgrimage even if you can afford it.
Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjum. Thank you, Mohsin. So, Mohsin there went to talk about what, Misbah? What did he go into?
How
You know why I asked these questions? Why I asked them directly at you to see if what? If you're not listening and taking the things I'm saying. So, Mohsin, can you explain a little bit of what you were talking about?
You have to. So it's the obligation to perform Hajj.
Yeah. So, Mohsin went in talking about when it becomes wajib on you, when you obligatory to what? Do Hajj. Yeah. When does it become wajib on you to do Hajj?
when you have gained puberty.
So when you're baligh, yeah. So at the age when you have to do namaz, yeah. What else?
Where when you're wait.
Okay, so we have a 27-year-old man. Yeah. He lives. He's homeless. Is he required to do Hajj?
No, because it's only if he can afford it.
Yeah. So if they have the means, to pay for it, then it becomes that they have to do it. Yeah. Misbah mentioned there that as soon as there's a point, the year, where you get this spike of money. Yeah. Okay. You've started your new job, or you've got a raise in your salary or something like that, and now you have this money, you've obtained this money, or you're gonna get this money, and what? This is able to cover you the cost of doing Hajj. From that point, yeah, it is wajib on you to do Hajj. Yeah. If you don't do Hajj in that year, there's this it's still wajib next year after that as well. Yeah. Once you got the means, yeah, it becomes wajib on you and you have to do it. How many times do you have to do it in your life?
You have
Once. Just wajib to do it once.
Yeah. So
but isn't it like optional? You can do it if you have to. You can do it once, but can't do more.
yeah, you can do more than one. You can do more than one. You can do more than once. It's just once. There's one time in your life where you got the means. The first time when you've got the means, yeah, you're old enough. You can go and do it. For anything after that, you got the means next year, yeah, you can do it as well. Yeah, you can do it that year as well. It's just that you have to do it once when you've got the means to do it. Yeah, as soon as you got the means to do it, then you do it that one time. Then you would, and then you then if you have the means to do it the next year, you don't have to do it. Yeah, but it's obviously good if you do it as well. Miss, for you, well, the next thing, so we start Miss Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
Physical health and strength. If a person is unable to travel to the holy places due to ill health, old age, or they are unable to stay there for prolonged periods because of extreme heat, it is not obligatory on them to set out for the pilgrimage personally. No obstruction. The route must be open and safe, i.e. there must be no danger to the pilgrim's life, his property or honour, otherwise the pilgrimage is not obligatory. Expenses for the journey. There must be sufficient funds to meet the expenses arising from the journey, such as those for eating, drinking and other necessities. The provision must be adequate for the return journey, including transportation. Availability on means on return. The person must be in a position to maintain themselves and their family on returning home. It is necessary that on their return they should be sovereign enough as to insulate themselves and their family against poverty. A short history of the Kaaba. Nabi Ibrahim a.s. built this house for devout worship to one God, but within his lifetime people disobeyed his orders and began to put idols inside the Kaaba. He told the people that this was a symbolic house of God. God does not live there, for he is everywhere. People did not understand this logic, and no sooner had Nabi Ibrahim a.s. died, the people, out of offence, filled the place with idols again. They visited to this place annually and worshipped their personal gods. It was over 4,000 years later that the last line of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Nabi Muhammad, entered the Mecca triumphantly, went inside the Kaaba, and with the help of his cousin and son-in-law, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, destroyed all the idols of Kaaba with their own hands. At one stage of the destruction of the idols, the tallest of the idol, Hubal, was brought down after Ali had to stand on his shoulders on the shoulders of the Prophet to carry out God's orders. The Prophet of Islam was reciting the verse from the Quran, Truth hath come and falsehood hath vanished. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Miss. So, what did Miss start off talking about there? She was continuing from Mohsin, talking about what?
Are you able to go?
Yeah, so the
Your health.
continue with the conditions for going to Hajj. Yeah. So what was a point that she mentioned there?
Like
your what?
Your are you able to go, like your physical?
Yeah. So your health. Yeah. Going in, because obviously, especially depending on what obviously what time of year it falls in. Yeah, so it might be warm. Think about where you're going. Yeah, Makkah, it will be obviously warm. Yeah, and if this heat may cause any trouble to you, yeah, maybe it might cause trouble to older people, and whoever has maybe a condition or whatever that heat affects it. Yeah, it's a trouble for them to go. Yeah, that means they're allowed not to, even if they got the means to. Yeah, they're allowed not, that they shouldn't go. What was another thing that you mentioned there?
The expenses.
Yeah, so if you have the money for the means to get there, it doesn't straight away mean that it's wajib upon you. Yeah, because you got the means to go Hajj. Yeah, you got to pay for the rest of the expenses as well. Yeah, because especially in this day and age, yeah, money is a really powerful thing. Yeah, and people have found ways to make even religion fueled by money. Yeah, so this is another sad thing, but you will have to pay expenses, not only for the means to get there, but the return back. Yeah, food or whatever the necessities needed. Yeah, if there's one day that you need to stay put, what's it called, accommodation, yeah, there might be a point where you need accommodation, yeah. So these all things, yeah, once you've covered all of that, then it becomes, yeah, wajib. Then you would have to do the Hajj, yeah. So most you got the next thing. And actually before that, what else did Miss get into? She went into
the history of the Kaaba.
Yeah, what did she mention there?
She mentioned that with the story like of Prophet Ibrahim, he had to destroy the idols, but when Prophet Ibrahim died, the people, because they're full of vengeance, they decided to put idol back in there, and then 4,000 years later Prophet Muhammad came and then he destroyed the idol, and then he said truth has vanished and truth has come and falsehood has vanished.
Yeah, and I think that line, truth has come and false, that's in the Quran as well. I think
he was reciting that.
Yeah.
It was in the Quran.
So Mohsin, you got the next thing, so we can start Mohsin after the last salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hajra and Nabi Ismail alayhi salam moved to a valley in Arabia. They settled in a place with hills and mountains on all sides to protect them. After a while, Prophet Ibrahim said that he should go back to see Sarah and to get some more food and water. Before he left, he prayed to Allah to look after his wife and son because they did not have much food and water left. The food and water soon began to run low. Hijra was very worried and prayed to Allah. Hijra went to the top of the mountain, Mount Safa, to look for Nabi Ibrahim. Now the water was all gone and they were desperate. She went to the north side of the valley and climbed up to the top of the Mount Morah. She looked towards the north, east and west and south for help, but found none. Hijra kept running back and forth between Mount Safa and Mount Marwa. She did this 7 times. Suddenly, she saw Ismail kick the ground with his heel. A spring of water gushed out, beautiful pure water. They were saved. Even today, this water, called Zamzam, still flows in the valley of Hijaz.
Salawat Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil fajr. Thank you, Mohsin. So Mohsin then mentioned another point when you do on Hajj, yeah, through the story, yeah, when you run from the mountains, Safa and Marwa, yeah, and Mohsin went into the history behind it, yeah, and the first person to do that was who?
Hajra,
the wife of
Prophet
Ibrahim alayhi salam. Yeah, so she has been so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah, so Prophet Ibrahim has taken her, yeah, with the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to this place, left her, yeah, and she's with the baby, yeah, Ismail, yeah. She's between these two mountains. She needs to find water. She goes up on one. Yeah, it looks.
You know the mountains, are they like hills? So like that, they're all like.
You can know this now because when I've seen pictures, because I haven't gone myself. When I've seen pictures, they've made. What I think, they've made like this pathway. Yeah, there's if I'm thinking about the right picture, yeah, that there's like there's made like this corridor between the two mountains. Yeah, it's kind of like that where you would you start at one point and you go to another. But I may be mistaken at that because I haven't gone myself. But hopefully, yeah, one day we can go and we'll see it for ourselves, inshallah. And so. She's gone up to one mountain. Yeah, she needs to look for water. Baby's crying. She goes up on a mountain, looks for water, comes back, yeah, goes on the other mountain, looks for water, comes back. Until now, she's seen baby Ismail, yeah, kicking his heel onto the ground, and what? Water flows out. Yeah, this water miraculously is still what? Flowing to this day. Yeah, called what? What's the name of it?
Zamzam.
Zamzam. Yeah. So this is just this was supposed to be our first part, but it looks like we've gone through it quite quickly actually. So we'll go on to the next part. Yeah. Talking about the Hajj, talking about Hajj. So, Miss B, you've got the next thing. So start, Miss B, Allah salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Hajj Tamattu. Umrah Tamattu includes doing the niyah, wearing ihram and reciting talbiyah. It also includes the tawaf of the Kaaba, the salah of tawaf, the sa'i and the taqsir. The following are the wajibats that have to be observed in the Hajj Tamattu. You have to make niyah, wear ihram and recite talbiyah. Ihram will be worn in Mecca itself. Wukuf Arafat. One must arrive at Arafat before Dhuhr or at the time of Dhuhr on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. It is wajib to stay on the plain of Arafah up to the time of Maghrib. Wukuf Mashharul Haram Muzdalifah. Just after Maghrib, you depart from Arafat to go to Muzdalifah. It is wajib to stay there from dawn to sunrise. Here you should collect 70 pebbles to throw at the Jumrah, stones representing Shaitan, at Mina the following day. Stay at Mina on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. After reciting Mina, you perform your first wajib act of the day, which is to go to the Jumrah of Aqba and strike it 7 times with the pebbles you collected at Muzdalifah. Qurbani, sacrifice. After striking the Jumrah is Qurbani. The animal for sacrifice may be a camel, cow, goat or sheep. Taqsir or halaq. The next wajib act is the trimming of the hair or nails or shaving the head. Tawaf of Hajj, Salah of Tawaf, Sa'i, Tawaf al-Nisa, and the Salah of Tawaf al-Nisa. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil fajr. Thank you, Mr. So, Mr. Going through the order of the rest of the stuff after what? After the Safa and Marwa running. Yeah. What was the first thing that she went on to mention there?
Like doing tawaf, you have to like.
So passing out.
Yeah.
So Miss, did you this is making the niyah and the recite of the talbiyah, yeah, and then the stage of Arafat, yeah, and then collecting pebbles, yeah, which you would what? Throw at the
Jumrah.
Yeah, which is what?
The stone, like that represents Shaitan.
Yeah, and then they would stay. That would be the point where you're staying at Mina. Yeah, and then it would be Qurbani. And then you would do the next wajib act, trimming the hair or nails, or shaving the head. Then tawaf of the tawaf of Hajj. Then the salah of the tawaf. And these just the order, yeah, of the things that Misbah went into, yeah. And there was 2 more things that Mohsin, if you would go into and then continue on. And can we start most of off with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
Mina 11th and 12th night. It is wajib to spend the nights of 11th and 12th of Dhul Hijjah at Mina. Striking Jama'ah on the 11th and 12th day, you must hit all three Jama'ah each with 7 pebbles. The similarities and differences between the Amal and Umri Tamattu and Hajj Tamattu. Tawaf, the starting point and the ending point for each circuit during Tawaf is the black stone fixed to the wall of the Kaaba. This is known as Al-Hijra Al-Aswad. When you have made your niyyah, just stand just parallel to the Al-Hijra Aswad and start Tawaf. Each round is completed when you return to the starting point too. Now, at all that during Tawaf, Kaaba must remain to your left. So if for any reason your left shoulder is turned away from the Kaaba, that particular sector of movement will not be included in Tawaf. You will have to return to the place where you were distracted and continue from there. Now since Kaaba is a cubical shape, this has 4 corners. As you reach the corners, you will make a gradual turn, exercising care as much as possible that your shoulder remain parallel to the Kaaba. There is a small wall in the arc shape adjoining to the Kaaba on one side. The Hijra Ismail, the grave of Prophet Ismail and his mother and other prophets, while making Tawaf. This must be included in the round, so do not pass between Kaaba and Hijri. Ismail during Tawaf. Tawaf must be carried out between Kaaba, Maqam and Ibrahim and not beyond. The number of circuits or each round in Tawaf is 7. Each round begin Al-Hijra Al-Aswad and end there. A Tawaf of less or more than several rounds is batil. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Bosin. So if we go, so the condition, the difference between Hajj and Umrah, mostly went into some of the differences there. Yeah, and he went on talking about the Tawaf and how in Hajj between the Kaaba and there's this thing called, you will see over there, Maqam Ibrahim. In Hajj it needs to be between these two points, between Kaaba and you can't go out of this. You know how you see that they've in the actual in the area with the Kaaba that they built up, you could go around the top, you could do Tawaf from there. Yeah, in Hajj, yeah, for your Hajj to be accepted, you can't be up there
At the top.
You can't be at the top because you've gone beyond this point from the Maqam Ibrahim. Yeah, you've gone now you've gone past that. Yeah, it's easier to visualize if you had a picture or anything, or you were there, you were actually there, you could see it properly. But there's it's marked. So you got the Kaaba and you got this other thing called Maqam Ibrahim. You need to be in between these two while you're doing Tawaf.
So whilst you're circling the Kaaba?
Whilst you're circling the Kaaba, it's a gap big enough, and you just make sure if you're doing Hajj, you're in between these two bits. Always with your, like Mohsin said, with your left shoulder towards the Kaaba. Yeah, so make sure you're between those 2 points whenever, if you're ever doing it. And if you want to, we can do some questions. Yeah, just to end off talk about. Did we go through everything that Mohsin spoke about there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we can do some questions just to end off. Yeah. So keep your score. Yeah. Ali is a wealthy man with ample time. Is it wajib for him to perform Hajj? Mohsin?
Yes.
Yeah. Ahmad is almost a teenager with responsibilities like taking care of an elderly parent and going to school. Due to his parents' wealth, he does have a lot of money in his account. During his long school vacation, which coincides with the month of Dhul Hijjah, he decides to perform Hajj. Is it wajib for him to perform Hajj? Misbah?
Yes.
With the elderly parent taking care of the elderly. Okay, so if we look in the conditions.
No, he's not.
No,
Because
wait,
you have to be.
That's if. Wait,
a well.
I
You
don't
have
know
to have a
because
well
you're
being
taking up to the elderly.
If he can get, because it's not himself.
That's what I was.
Yeah, with the physical problems, yeah, with these weaknesses. If he's not himself, yeah, and he can get someone to look after his parents, yeah, then it will be. If he's got the means to go there, come back, yeah, and he can get someone to look after his parents, then it's wajib on him.
But didn't it say he's going to school, so they must.
Yeah, but it's a holiday.
Holiday. He said in his school vacation.
Yeah, so it's just.
So all depending on if he can get someone to look after his parents or something like that. Yeah. So I would think it is wajib upon him. If he performed Hajj successfully and properly, would it be accepted as? Would it be accepted? Please state your reason. So this is following that question. He performed. So if he did Hajj successfully and properly, he did everything. Yeah. Would he be accepted? Just give your own opinion.
What age is he?
He's almost a teenager.
He's almost.
No, then it wouldn't be accepted.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm looking back and it says almost a teenager. I don't know what almost a teenager is.
Because
it doesn't say he's a baligh or anything.
There's this one point that he said in there that even if they was a child and they did it all properly and
then it wouldn't be.
It still wouldn't be accepted.
Yeah, that's because they're a child. Yeah, but this sentence, this question that is here is a bit obscure because it says he's almost a teenager. You can't tell if he's baligh or not. Yeah, from that. Almost a teenager. I don't know if that means 14 going on 15 or something like that, or it might be almost a teenager,
maybe 11 or 12.
Yeah.
11 or 12.
Yeah, so I don't know.
You get the point then.
Okay, so listen to this one.
Wait, no.
Hassan has $2,000 in his bank account. To perform Hajj, he needs 3,000 for the whole trip. He decides to use borrowed money to perform Hajj. Is that acceptable?
No, because it's not his money.
Yeah, borrowed money for me looks a bit dodgy. Yeah, but if he says borrowed money,
he don't have money himself.
Yeah, and then
with borrowed money, actually,
no,
he doesn't have himself the expenses to what?
To make
make the whole trip,
make back and forth.
Yeah, make the whole trip. Okay.
Are we describing the
Explain the similarity between the ihram of Hajj and takbiratul ihram of Salah.
Wait, what? Explain
the similarities
okay.
or differences. Well, I don't think you'll find it between ihram of Hajj and wait, let me finish it and then explain the similarity between ihram of Hajj and takbiratul ihram.
When you do the takbir al-ihram to start your salah, all your focus is on Allah. Same with the ihram. As soon as you put it on, all your focus and intent and pleasure, all your focus is on Allah and the pleasures of Allah.
Yeah. How many points have you got, Mohsin?
I got about 2 or 3.
I got 2, but I don't know whether that third one I got.
Bonus point if you remember what I said about this question.
Which question?
The last one.
No,
the similarities between ihram of Hajj and takbiratul ihram of Salah.
That some things when you say the takbir al-ihram, some things become haram, and same with the ihram. As soon as you wear it, some things become haram.
Become haram on you. Okay, so at the end of that, I think
I got 3 points.
I think I'll give that to Misbah. Yeah. So at the end of that, Misbah has won the quiz with 4 points, and Mohsin's got 3 points. So. No, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're all winners, and I hope you have learnt a lot about Hajj. I've certainly learnt a lot, and I hope you lot have learnt a lot as well. And I hope people at home as well have learnt a lot about about the topic of Hajj. And inshallah, we all get the opportunity in the future, in the coming years, to do Hajj and have this experience, this important experience that we all have to do once in our lives when we have the means to do so. So hope you have learned a lot. Hope you have learned a lot at home as well. And we'll see you next week, same time, same place on Hidayat TV. But until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.